Oh, so quite a few different people have been asking about these events right here. People calling them the burst of speed events. And the one thing I love is what these appear as in the menu as your burst of speed, your burb of speed, the burra of speed, and the burrs. Like whoever designed that icon and put the thing there is brilliant. Especially, I love the idea of the burb of speed. Like some really odd looking graphics, but um, yeah, those weird icons aside, especially the burst of speed. Yeah, I'm just going to give a run through on them with all of the cars and just show the cars that I used for them. I'm gonna make this one a bit of a long-ish video, but there's a couple of portions to it, and the first thing is just gonna be a case of one thing that you need to be able to do for a couple of these cars, because some of the cars have really weird acceleration or really weird top speeds. So I'm going to go through a few bits and pieces, and that is to say that I'll put tags down here along in the actual chapter mark. Again, guys, I'm just going to put this at the start of these videos because of the way my channel is at the moment. Subs really help me out, so if you click the sub button, that really helps me out the way my channel is at the moment, because there's a thing where YouTube are going to start pushing ads onto the channels that are below 1,000 subs anyway, and I currently won't have any control over that. So yeah, if you could help me out to get towards 1,000, that would really help. And yeah, it's gonna give me at least some control over those, which would be awesome. But all right, the chapter marks are gonna be effectively the case of the nitro burst trick that's in game at the moment that you kind of need for a couple of these. You might have heard people talking about the nitro brake technique, and yeah, I'm gonna throw that into this video, and also I'll put my cars that I used in this video, and then the actual runs for each one of the cars. So like I said, this is going to be a bit of a long one because there's quite a few cars involved with it. But yeah, in terms of actual car tips, I'll go through that when I'm going through my cars portion of it, and then I'll include the video of my runs of these. I've done each one of these with the exception of the GT3 911, because that is a car that, yeah, it's different. But like I said, my garage is down along here in the timeline, and also the other runs are there, and that nitro burst I'm going to be doing outside of this event just to show exactly how that works. Now, so I've queued up the Himalayas track here for this one, and the Lotus Elise Sprint for this Nitro Brake glitch that you would have heard people talking about. And it is just a case of, say, like, when cars are in the air in Asphalt 9 Legends, they usually go about 50 miles an hour faster than their top speed. So, like, the Lotus Elise Sprint goes at 175 miles an hour when it's on the ground, and when it's airborne, it goes around 225 or so. Now, the thing is, as soon as you touch down from being airborne, the car will immediately correct itself back to that 175 miles an hour. And yeah, like, that is just kind of a part of the game mechanics. Now, the thing is, though, the way the game works at the moment is like when you touch down, say, like, if that's your 225 and there's your 175, it's like if you land and just don't do anything, the car will immediately go 225, jump straight back down. But what you can do is, as you land and the car starts to decelerate, if you tap brake here, it'll stop for a second, and tap nitro, it will hold the speed here for a sec. And then, like, it'll immediately start to reduce again, and you can tap brake, nitro, brake, nitro, brake, nitro. And the idea is to kind of feather back and forth between those by, like, the button presses, and it is just like brake nitro, brake nitro, brake nitro. It's a strange one, and like it can take a bit of getting used to, but I'll show here the difference between the actual, like, kind of doing it and not doing it on this Himalayas track. I'll just cut this one up with a bit of editing because, yeah, it'll involve some laps. But the long straight here is a good place to kind of practice it. Places where you basically have a ramp and you're coming down with a car with decent enough nitro is a good place to practice it. But you can do this in all the cars in the game. It's just the Elite Sprint is one of the most obvious ones when you're doing it. So, like, yeah, because the car does not have a great flatland speed. So, like, I'm going to fill up the nitro here. And what I'll do first is, nearly go into a wall. But yeah, what I'm going to do first is just to actually nitro the car off this ramp and just touch it down regularly. So you have your 225 and then you touch back 175 straight away. No, so coming around here, again, this time though going to use the brake nitro trick. So bring the car up to that 175 normal speed on the ground, bring it up to 225 and then brake nitro, brake nitro, brake nitro, brake nitro, and try and feather that to, if you see the speedometer and just watch how the speed doesn't decline back to the 175 as fast as it would. Now you can do it on ramps with corners and stuff, so but it is going to be quite a lot more difficult to try and hold that speed up a small bit there. And yeah, kind of slightly failed it on that, but like it is just a really, really cool technique, and you're gonna need to be able to use that a small amount on this track, on a few of these tracks actually coming up, especially the ones with the kind of heavier C and D class cars, because those ones just, yeah, they really have difficulty with acceleration. So I'm just gonna cut to the first ones of those. Now I gotta go in reverse order down through my cars that I used for this, and I will just kind of give a few bits and pieces of pointers about them. The Koenigsegg Regera here, that's a car that like I really had trouble with that even at the 4th star version of that. So like if you've got that car unlocked before 4 stars, you're very much going to have a problem with getting that 120 token reward at least. So I'm just saying this for a case of if you've got these cars unlocked or barely unlocked, just keep in mind the fact that the speeds that I put in, and these are the car ratings that I was using for them. So give yourself an idea as to how close you might be able to get to my times normally, and just think like, could you tune up the cars to get them? So say like with any of these S-Class cars, the 120 token reward that you get 5 times, that's effectively 600 tokens that you get. So it's not even enough for a single 10 pack. So if you would effectively like not be able to get, you know, an upgrade for it for like several 10 packs of cards, then it wouldn't be worth your while upgrading. So because you're only going to get 600 tokens back if you manage to get them up to say like the 4 stars in some of these. The Terzo Millennio, like that one's not too bad. I'm missing quite a few installed imports in that, especially at the point where I recorded a run that had that car, because that actually is missing an extra import part again. But yeah, that's my one that I throw imports on every day. But yeah, say like you can see here, the Koenigsegg Regera, that's effectively like the minimum I would advise for trying to do that with 120 tokens, would be around that 4-star rating. The Terzo is like grand at 3 stars really to be able to do that. 4 stars makes it quite easy. The Bugatti Chiron is just, yeah, it's an incredible car from jump, pretty much at 1 stock. It's been quite a while since I've had that lower than that, but I would think easily you'd get that at 4 stars if you could get it to that. But yeah, like mine is at 5 stars, 4.5k. But like yeah, that Chiron, not difficult to do it with at that star rating in the slightest. Now, these cars, yeah, say like the Spider and the Huara, and those ones, no real difficulty with that because of the crazy star rating that I have on those. The Aperta, you can see in the run, there are 3 stars on that 3.5k. Like it is on that limit of where it's kind of difficult. So yeah, on the run that I use with that, you can see the fact of using those barrel roll ramps to like get that car up to speed with orange nitro and then blasting it towards the finish line. So if you see that, like if you wanted to go exactly to where the Aperta is on this, if you're having any difficulty in the that Rome stage with those, that Aperta one, you'll see the fact that yeah, running it up onto those ramps, orange nitro into the air, because orange in the air is pretty much like your fastest acceleration outside of a shockwave in the air. But yeah, it is just trying to get that car up to speed and yeah, get it to like where a point where you can bring it around the corners and get it finished quickly. Because like I said, the 3 stars is about the limit I would think for getting the higher token rewards for all of these. But yeah, you can see here like my Aston Martin Vantage is missing 1 of the stars off of it. So like tiny bit of a kind of challenge towards the time in that Hurricane Spider, yeah, I have this thing maxed out. Hopefully, if you've seen this in events a few times, you'll have it maxed as well. Now, the Porsche 911 GT3, like that being the highest car in this bracket, because it is such a like high potential car, that thing can be over 4K. But quite a lot of players obviously didn't get it unlocked to that because this hasn't had a Riot or an Unleashed event. The only way this car was available was through packs. But yeah, that's one where the time for that needs to be like at the 4th star pretty much, from people talking in the club about this car, which means that like realistically, do not chase down upgrades for that car. Say like I'm 7 blueprints away from the upgrade of that car, but at the same time I know myself that if I get that to the 2 stars, I'm still going to be about 2 seconds off of that time. If I got it to the 3 stars, I'd still be about a second. 4th star, then I'd be considering it being possible. But yeah, that is miles away in terms of spending cash and tokens on those packs. So that one's totally like out pretty much from being able to easily get those tokens. I would strongly advise against chasing those ones down, especially not because of the fact that in the B burst of speed, like that is a 60 token reward for that one. So definitely 60 times 5, that is not worth that in the slightest. You know, for those 300 tokens you're going to get back from that, it's not even a half of one of those 10 pack of cards. Down into the burst of speed D and C classes, like the reward times of that have been kind of getting quite a lot of people. The TVR Griffith, Artega Scalo, and yeah, the Air Husaria. And it is because those cars don't have crazy acceleration, and like the track that they're on, the Tokyo thing, is a bit of a strange one. So like I will actually go through those runs individually with like actual commentary on what I'm doing with them, but the other ones I'm just going to leave with yeah, just videos because there's quite a lot of them. So I'm just gonna truck gameplay footage, and hopefully like you'll be able to see the way I throw those cars in there just to get the tokens out of it. But yeah, see these higher rewards on all of them as well. Do just keep in mind that that is for players who basically have those cars tuned up to, like say on a 6-star car, it is kind of for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th star. I would think like that higher reward is going to be difficult with any of these cars if they're not kind of tuned up to nearly the max star at least anyway, because like the margin for error on the D and C cars is quite tight. Now you can see my versions of the class cars here, and yeah, like say the TVR Griffith's golded, and you need to take it with a 34 seconds, well just a little bit over 34 seconds time. And again, I'm gonna just go into this. Now, the TVR Griffith has I think it's a 210 mile an hour top speed. So for that Nitro Brake trick thing, you kind of need to know the actual speeds of the cars, because otherwise you're gonna be in trouble where you're like braking beyond that top land speed. Because what you always want to do is like feather it down and down and down to that land top speed, and then stop there, because otherwise you'll bring the car's speed down further. So like on this track, Shanghai stage, so like it is just a case of like you want to get the car pretty much like as close to the 210 speed as possible, and then just bring it towards one of those barrel rolling ramps with an orange or Shockwave Nitro if you can. TVR Griffith does not handle well with drifting. I wouldn't advise it. Just pretty much try and get the car as straight as you can. Avoid that AI next to you here. Get yourself pointed down the straight. I'm gonna drift a tiny bit here just to fill up some meter, and then yeah, Shockwave into this. Now again with this car, because of the 210 miles an hour, I'm not actually going to do too much in the lines of that Nitro Brake for this one, just because of the fact that yeah, it isn't like in this car's best interest to be doing that. But yeah, so the TVR Griffith's not too bad if it's like high rated. There's 2 seconds or so to the good in terms of the time reward that thing gets. Because yeah, like I said, you need a 34.3, and there's a 32, yeah, just under the 33 second one for it. So yeah, the Scalo Super Electra here, Like, this is one where the stats are sort of similar to that Lotus Elise that I was using on the Himalayas for that Nitro Brake trick. And yeah, you are really going to need to be able to employ that here to get that 30.7 seconds. It is just a fairly odd time to get this, especially if you try and take this car along the ground. You're going to end up in trouble with it because it does need to go airborne. Not only does it need to go airborne, it kind of also needs a bit of the feathering kind of thing that I found is the easiest way to get this time. Now, you can try and bounce on multiple ramps here, but I'm just going to show you the path that I used for this one. If you've got this car maxed out, if this car is missing stars in your garage, this might be very, very difficult to get these higher ranks rewards for this, especially if you're looking at a 1 or a 2 star version. So, again, just going to take the car into a drift here. Fill up that meter. Nitro, or well, be orange into that ramp. And then Nitro Brake, Nitro Brake, Nitro Brake, Nitro Brake to try and hold the car as close as possible to the aerial top speed of it, rather than letting it drift back down to that flatland top speed. And across the line with 350ths of a second to spare. Like, not exactly miles of leeway there with that one, but it is possible, definitely. Like, and that car is not golded, but it is quite tuned. But yeah, like a drift around there, bringing the car up onto the ramp. I put it into blue for a second, but yeah, just correct it, and then you can see the Nitro Brake pulsing. Hopefully you can hear from the buttons, and that you'll get an idea as to the way that I'm actually doing that. And then just nitro towards the finish line so that you can cut across the grass without losing much of that speed. And like, again, not easy, but not a crazy amount of tokens to be earned from this one. So don't be too upset if you're kind of missing out on these. I know it's 30 times 5 tokens, so you're just talking about 150 or so tokens. But still, at the same time, yeah, that is like, it's cool if you have the car unlocked to be able to chase it down, but you might need to kind of practice a small bit with that Nitro Brake technique that's earlier in this video for this one. Now, and the Air Husaria, which needs 31 seconds, and again, this is one where you have very little in the lines of a safety barrier here with this one. Like, say, my version of the car here, I've got the import parts into acceleration. There's 1 in nitro, 1 in handling, and 2 in acceleration. And still, like, this isn't exactly a simple run of this. If you've got this car at 3 or 4 stars, this may be close to impossible. But I'll show you the route that I use for this one. And again, it's using the same kind of like Nitro Brake a small bit. Just remember, this car's top speed is around 227-ish when it's flatland. So if you get the speed back down to that, you don't want to be like still doing that pulse Nitro Brake, Nitro Brake, Nitro Brake. It does take a bit of knowledge about the cars to kind of get the hang of doing that, because like you will need to know their flatland nitro speed. Bit of an overzealous right turn there at the start, but yeah, hopefully pull this one off still. Goodbye, AI. But yeah, even like to be able to hold that speed for a small portion beyond whoa, dirt. Yeah, I would advise not driving through the dirt like that in the end of that. But like, it's the main straight is the portion where you're getting all that time. But wow, that's like incredibly bad time. Just like the main part is here. This is the part where people are going to be getting kind of caught out on, and it is just a case of nitro there. Went a small bit on the high side, but just you see the pulsing to get the car up to or to stay in speed. But yeah, here completely and utterly messed up and went through dirt without the nitro state twice there. But yeah, still managed to put it in under that 31 seconds, just based on the acceleration point here. Now, if I have a recording of another version of that, I'll chuck it onto the end of this, because for the rest of these ones, like I said, I'm just going to have a no commentary version of myself in it, but yeah, it is just a case of like, yeah, these lower ranked ones are weirdly some of the harder ones, and hopefully like you can kind of see, oh, that speed drop right there, that's nasty. But yeah, hopefully you see from these kind of the pathways and stuff that I was taking, and how using that Nitro Brake trick thing can really help with some of these. For a burst of speed, you need a burst of extra tricks. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave it at that for myself, and yeah, hopefully the rest of these videos do help you out. There would be no sub button, I guess, at the end of it. So again, I'll just say sub button down underneath here. And yeah, guys, good luck grinding out these tokens. Hopefully these help. If they do, please do consider clicking on that sub button. Leaving a comment down below, clicking a like on this video. Yeah, and feel free to share this about. Alright, guys, good luck. And like I said, yeah, go grind those tokens because they're worth real money.
You